Hey guys, Dan here from the Functional Training Institute, and it's my pleasure to present for the winter edition of UPSKILL. Now today's theme is all about core consumption, one of my favorite themes. And we're at this fantastic facility, Primal NRG in St. Peters, a terrific functional training facility. And I'm going to showcase 4 of my favorite core control, core stability exercises that will enable you to have better posture and an improved athletic performance. Now let's just clear up some myths, some misnomers around core training. First and foremost, a lot of people train the core as a prime mover. So we see these people doing hundreds, thousands of crunches and sit-ups and the like. Where I want to challenge that. The core should be really trained to resist movement as opposed to actually create movement. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do 4 exercises that challenge the rotation, the flexion, and the extension of the core using my favorite training tools, the kettlebell. Now, what I can guarantee is if you incorporate these 4 exercises into your training programs, you're going to be stronger, you're going to be more powerful, and you're going to have a vastly improved posture. You'll see when I'm moving, I'm nice and upright. All right, I'm developing a lot of the strength here so I don't tilt into an anterior pelvic tilt as well, because we see a lot of that lower cross syndrome prevalent, and these exercises will go a long way to preventing that. So what are the big 4? First and foremost, we're going to have a look at the renegade row. So a lot of people think the renegade row is a pulling exercise. Now, I'm going to counter that and say it's actually a core control exercise, and it's more of a pushing exercise. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you 2 points to really focus on each of these 4 movements. Then we're going to put them together in a great, fun, challenging, and dynamic workout. So let's start with our renegade row. Renegade row. Let's get those arms underneath our shoulders. Now, what's really important here is my base of support, i.e. my legs. If I come in closer, it's going to be more challenging for my core. If I'm further out, it makes it a little easier. So let's start nice and close. Now, when I lift one bell, I'm contracting and I'm creating all this tension and stability through the other bell. And my toes are going to try press into the ground as hard as they absolutely can. Now, the temptation for a lot of people here is to turn through the hips. That's what we want to resist. That's what we're trying to counter. So let's take a look. There you have it. All right, very slow, very controlled as we're moving through. The next exercise I want to show you is our single arm farmer's walk. Now this one you're going to want to use a little bit of extra weight. So I've got a 28 kilo bell here, quite heavy, quite challenging, to really challenge my stability. So I'm going to hold on one side, and the other side it's going to want to tilt, and I've got to bring it back. All right, I've got to stabilize, resist that movement. What a lot of studies have shown is where we're weak is our lateral core strength. When we're weak in our lateral core strength, just say an athlete, for example, they're trying to cut or they're trying to turn, they're going to have energy leaks, all right? Because it's not locking the pelvis in. So we want to keep that nice and strong. So I'm going to show you how it looks. Keep the elbow detached from the torso, and we want to move slow. Really, really slow as we move through, and I want to resist it. You want to have a great posture as you move through it. All right, so that's our second exercise, our single arm farmer's walk. Third exercise is what we call our hip halo. And again, I've got to resist motion as I'm moving through. I'm going to be shifting the load up and down the body, from up to the side, all around. And I've got to try to remain stable here. And everything is going to be switching on, that core, all of it is going to be switching on as I stabilize. So we're going to start on one side of the hip with the horns. We're going to come up and around the body, over to the opposite hip. We're going to come up and around the body to the opposite hip. Now, if I'm not strong, if I'm sagging, I'm going to be moving my neck, my hips all over the place. So you've got to be rigid as you move through. With a lot of these exercises, it's about creating stability from the ground up. So really try to dig your body into the ground, and that's going to create a lot of extra tension and support. Now, our last one, I believe, is probably our most challenging. I've saved the best to last, and that's our rack walk. Now, we can do these forwards or backwards or sideways. So I'll show you both. Again, I'm using some heavier weight. I've got two 28s here. I want to challenge that stability. So I've got the load in the front. It's going to challenge the flexion, okay, as I'm moving through. And if I go to the side, it's also going to challenge me side to side as well. So let's have a look at this bad boy. All right. All right, so they're the big four. You could see that I'm really taking it very slowly on each of these four exercises. I have to think about my postural position and I have to resist the motion. So what we can do is I'm simply just going to put this into a little mini circuit, guys. All right, nothing complex. But what we're going to do is we're going to do 30 seconds of work on each of those four exercises. We're going to have a 15-second break just to set up, really catch our breath in between as we're moving through. Now I'm just going to do one round today, but you might do 2 or 3 rounds. That would be my recommendation in terms of how to do it. So I'm just going to set up my very simple interval timer. We're going to be on in 3 seconds. I'm going to start with some renegade rows, and we're off. There we go, there's interval number 1. Got 15 seconds. All I'm going to do is just catch my breath. You could hear that I was very conscious about my breath. A lot of people will hold their breath. That's what we want to resist. All right, number 2, we've got our walk. And what I'm going to do now is just switch the side. So we hit both sides, we're nice and balanced as we move through. All right, that's the second exercise done. Now we've got our hip halos as we move through. I don't want to rush it. Got to remember to breathe through each of these exercises. Going one hip to the next. We have one more. I saved the best to last. It's going to be our rack walks. You can see my heart rate's up, my breath's up, my body temperature's up, even though these exercises might look quite simple. So there you have the big 4 exercises that are going to enhance your core stability, your core strength, and in turn, positively impact your posture, your athletic performance. I hope you enjoyed those 4. Can't wait to see you in our next edition where we're going to be discussing the posterior chain. Thank you very much for watching, guys.